He trotted determinedly after her. When he reached her, he put a hand on her shoulder. She turned to look at him, and his powerful arms enveloped her. He pressed his soft lips into hers. His mouth opened insistently against hers. Lexi responded, parting her lips, and welcomed his hot tongue diving in. Her body went up in flames. She almost dropped her phone, returning his embrace. He kissed her so long and hard she thought she'd never take another normal breath. She wasn't sure she ever wanted to. Every bit of her skin prickled joyfully. When he finally released her, he kissed her immediately again. Hacha. Let's talk kissing scenes.
And let's talk about love. I'm feeling alright. And let's talk about love. Yeah, baby, come.
Hello, Vixens. The scene I read to you just now was from my very, very first book, Starstruck, book one of the Breaking Fancy trilogy. My very first kissing scene between my two main love interests. If you are interested in contemporary romance about a woman who is fleeing an abusive situation to reinvent herself in the shark-infested waters of Hollywood, I recommend the Breaking Fancy trilogy. I was new. It was my first time. There I was, innocently trying to figure out how to get these two to kiss, how to make it natural, how to make it exciting. And that is definitely a question and a problem we come across all the time as writers, especially in the romance genre. There is going to be kissing. But kissing isn't just for romance. Well, the main genre of romance. There's the subgenre of romance, and there are and easy for me to say, and there's also romantic arcs in any kind of genre: science fiction, fantasy, thriller, suspense, horror, mystery. Did I leave anything out? I'm sure I did. But there can be romance in anything, even if it doesn't end with a happily ever after or happily for now, as a romance genre should. See my video on conventions. But you might find yourself pulling two characters together. And once you do, and you've never done it before, what next? What do you do? What's important? What should you focus on? A first kiss is one of the most important things that can happen to our main characters, our main love interests. So you want to focus on internal, emotional, external, all the body responses, and the physical sensations thereof. You can set up a kiss with tension. You can set it up with softness and romance. You can set it up with poetry. You can set it up anyhow, any way you like. But once it comes down to it, what needs to happen is the focus needs to be on them and on that kiss. There could be a battle raging around them, but these two have eyes for each other, and that is it. And your reader knows this is going to happen. Focus on the emotional state. Usually, when we have a first kiss, we are in some form or state of arousal. So, these two characters are going to feel heat. Their heart could be racing, their pulse is definitely up, their breath might be coming faster, or it could be something very sudden. In the case of my characters in Starstruck, it was kind of sudden. She was leaving because she was feeling like a little guilty that she was there. I won't give the story away, but she was kind of thinking maybe I should just get home, even though she really, 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 really liked him. And he was just not having it. He's like, oh, come on. This is silly. Don't run. And he just very gently goes over and suggests contact by taking her shoulder. And when she turns, lip contact happens. When their lips meet, we want to think about pressure. Is it soft? Is it hard? Is it sudden? Is it quick? Maybe it's a peck. But if you're going to go in for that long first kiss, you definitely want to think about the pressure, the softness, the firmness. Is it rough? There can be sometimes very rough kisses. I sometimes I think of like the old fashioned movies from the golden era of Hollywood, where the men and women would talk and chatter until all of a sudden it was like da da da, and they just smash together. And you can do that as well. However you want to do it, you definitely need to focus on the physical, what's happening physically. I've read kissing scenes where sometimes they get into the head a little too much, and they're talking about what she's thinking, and she's thinking this and she's thinking that, or he's thinking this and he's thinking that. And it could be that they're having doubts, or they're having fears, or they're really excited, or whatever it is that they're thinking about it, and the reader is reading about what they're thinking about instead of reading about the kiss. Get to the kiss. Worry about those thoughts later. Usually when you kiss someone, your mind goes blank. Think about your own experiences. That's what I always say. Think about your own experiences in this. And often we don't start the cranial juices turning again till after the kiss is over. If you need to have an inner monologue, I recommend maybe keeping it super, super brief if it's going to be there at all. Super, super quick. You want to have a sentence or maybe two, but you don't want to get distracted by that. Focus on the moment for these two characters. Bring their lips together, talk about the heat, talk about the excitement of it, and instead of telling, showing. So with Lexi, I had her almost dropping her phone. She's a losing sensation because her phone, she'll drop phone. Oh my God, he's kissing me. So in that case, you can show it by, are they dropping something? Have they just, their stomach is fluttering and they can't feel the earth anymore? I have a lot of kissing in this book, among many delightful other things. So, and it is challenging to think about, instead of describing every single microsecond of what is occurring, how to put that into body responses. The breath quickening, the pulse racing, maybe you're getting a little dizzy, that kind of thing, stomach fluttering, skin feeling even more alive and on fire, rush of adrenaline when that person is finally kissing you or you're finally kissing them. So that, or your character, no, you, if you're writing in first person. And then you want to go a little, how far in this kiss do you want to get? Are there tongues involved? Shall we tongue? That is definitely important. And you don't want, again, watch your language. Don't get too gross. Always think in terms of things that are nice. If it sounds good enough to eat, then you're going to be doing just fine. But if you start using words like he puckered, do not do the pucker. Nobody puckers. Nobody puckers unless they absolutely have no idea what they're doing, or there's a misunderstanding, or maybe they're super socially awkward, but it's not romantic. So if you want this to be a romantic kiss, we need to leave out words like pucker. We know how mouths work. We know how lips work. And usually a puckered kiss is something a little more polite and lighthearted, like mwah, between friends, or mwah, you've been friend zoned, or mwah, from your Aunt Louise. Okay, so it's going to be a little bit it's going to be a lot less romantic. There's usually not a lot of romance in that. Let's keep that, especially with your Aunt Louise. Let's not have that. Let's not have that happen. Then if you're going to bring the tongues in, you can talk about wetness, moisture, pressure, again, is very important. And what are they doing? Are they shoving their tongues? Don't say shove. Never use shove and tongue. Never. When we're kissing, maybe we can use that for other things, but not for kisses. So you want to have it maybe sliding or writhing, wrestling, something really fun and interesting sounding that's tantalizing. But we do not shove tongues. We don't do that. Be polite. We want to remember, we are going for romance, not he puckered and shoved his tongue in. Absolutely a 0 right there for me. No. So focus on the softness and use those 5 senses, not just how it feels, not just the pressure, not just does she taste his mint gum, not just that kind of thing, but also you want to talk about the smells. Is she smelling his cologne? Is she getting surrounded by, I think one of my Kai's smell is amber. So it's an amber fragrance that wraps around her warmly. And just that smell later on in the book starts to turn her on because it reminds her of being intimate with him. Smells are very, very important. So remember, usually we don't see things because our eyes are closed when we kiss. So you can talk about that. Her eyes dropped or closed or her flitted, like, ooh. So we can work with that. Then you've got, of course, your physical sensations, pressure, moisture. Is there anything in the background? I did have one scene where the first kiss happened and there was music playing in the background, and that song became their song, So that can be in there. Maybe they're hearing an ocean tide. Maybe there's a waterfall nearby. Maybe there's the sound of combat in the distance. That can also lend to the excitement of the moment. And let's not forget their hands, the rest of their body. What is happening here? Usually, if you're getting aroused, you might have some results from that arousal. You know what I'm talking about. If you're a girl, they're probably going to be above the belt. If you're a boy, it's going to be below the belt. If you're an alien with tentacles, then you make that up. That's your world. But something somewhere is going to tighten or harden. And it's okay to talk about that. That actually increases the sensuality of the moment and shows your reader these two are really into each other. Remember, they have hands. Are the hands caressing something or wrapping around the back of the head? Are the hands going around shoulders or the middle or small of the back? Are they starting to plunge down towards the rear end? Or are they maybe unbuttoning or unzipping something? This all can happen. You want to have caressing and pinching and even nuzzling. Break your kiss up a little bit. They're not always just going to be shoving tongues into each other. You can have a little breakup and they start nibbling an earlobe or biting on a neck. The whole body kind of turns into an erogenous zone when you start to get turned on. So use that. Talk about teeth grazing, then come back to the mouth. If they're really, really making out, those hands and lips and teeth are going to be working it. So work it. And again, be careful to stay on track with your kissing scene. See it all the way to its completion. If it's going to lead to sex, let it lead to sex. Start taking their clothes off, however you want to do that. If it's just a one time and they have to stop, then they're going to deep breath and they're going to exit the scene. They're going to exit the moment. Maybe their eyes are going to linger on each other. And eye contact is another thing, since we're talking about the five senses. It can start with eye contact. It can end with eye contact. Either way. If you have many kissing scenes in your book, mix it up. Don't start every single kissing scene the same way. Eye contact, kissing, tongues, hug, deep breath, eye contact, end. Make sure you mix this stuff up. There's a whole gamut of possibilities. And I'm sure if you've kissed some people, you've probably kissed in different ways and different things have happened every time. So try and mix it up in different ways. You can have a little hair tug. You can have, maybe they have an inside joke. Maybe they have a funny little phrase they like to share that lets them know they love each other and they're saying goodbye now. And that's the end of the kissing scene. So find different ways to bring them in and let them go. And that's just a real quick assessment of how to do a good kissing scene. I hope I've given you some good pointers. Make sure you like and subscribe. Kiss that like button. Thank you for visiting my hotspot.
Let's talk about